I would like to hand it over to our my colleague, who's also going to be taking over for, at this point, she's going to be leading the discussion panel. And basically, she is a person that I didn't formally really introduce yesterday, and I wanted to do it today because she has a lot of experience, extensive experience in the field of journalism. And she served as a reporter for one of the leading daily newspapers in Bahrain, the Daily Tribune, for 5 years before helming her weekly newspaper as an editor for 4 years. She has also worked with the UN on youth development projects, and Anne has carried various social media campaigns and streamlined mega events in Bahrain. She has now moved to Pakistan and hopes to create the same waves of creativity and change as she managed to maneuver in Middle East. She holds dual bachelor's degree, one from Virtual University itself. She's also taken various journalism courses throughout her career, including a creative writing fellowship at the University of Iowa, USA. She also has a few published short stories to her name and is also aiming to becoming a storyteller to present stories of those who don't have the means or the voice to share their own legacy. So a storyteller for the ones who can't share their story. I would like to hand over the mic to Ms. Meherjan.
Thank you so much, Mr. Ali Chauhan. That was a beautiful introduction. It'll stay with me. Thank you so much. Welcome, everyone. Assalamu alaikum. And thank you for joining us again for yet another exciting discussion panel. And for those of us who are joining now, we would now be presenting a group of speakers very capable in their field who would be sharing their expertise and experience on dealing with the issue, the crisis that we're facing right now, and how to create a strong digital platform so that we can continue a sound quality educational framework. So similar to yesterday's gathering, we shall now have a discussion with another distinguished group of experts as they weigh in on how to manage e-learning effectively and quickly. That's the thing. We don't have any time to waste anymore, so we need to get on with the program. So I would like to introduce our panel for today, Mr. Zamir Mushtaq from Lahore Medical and Dental College, Mr. Janzeb Ahmed Khan from University of Lahore, Ms. Satwat Bashir from University of Management and Technology, and Ms. Fatma Nawaz from University of Management and Technology. So I hope all of our panelists are with us right now. And if you could, we would be starting our discussions, our presentations with the panelists one by one. Thank you all so much for joining us on the second day of the first All Pakistan Online Education Summit 2020. So I would like to start off with Mr. Zamir Mushtaq. Are you with us?
Yes, I am. Thank you.
Good afternoon, Mr. Zamir. How are you?
I'm fine. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us and for taking the time out to be part of this amazing event. I request you to please kindly start off your presentation on your expertise and ways in which you are combating with the pandemic era and the crisis that has brought with it.
Okay. My presentation is visible to everyone. May I please confirm?
Yes, we can see the. Can you just start off the slides?
Okay. Thank you so much for inviting me. Let me introduce myself. I'm Zamir Mushtaq, working as Director IT at Lahore Medical and Dental College. I have 15 years experience in education and software industry. My areas of interest are cloud computing using Google and Microsoft, automation in educational setups, virtualization, Microsoft Exchange, Microsoft Office 365 services, and Google App Suite for education. Let me introduce my institution. Lahore Medical and Dental College is proud to be the first medical institution in private sector established in 1997 in the province of Punjab. We are offering MBBS, BDS, Form D, DPT, and BSc Nutrition programs. Lahore Medical and Dental College is affiliated with University of Health Sciences, recognized by Pakistan Medical Education
Mr. Samir, if I
and
could
Dental
just request
Council
you to,
and
Mr. Samir,
associated with the United States and
Mr.
yeah.
Samir, if you could just close your video possibly, because your voice is a bit distorted. So maybe it'll be better if the video is closed while the presentation is happening.
Okay.
Thank you.
Is this okay now? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. Oh, let me share my transition experience, how we transformed conventional medical education to online medical education during this COVID-19 crisis. The tool we use for online education is Google Meet and Google Classroom. We started our first online class on 22nd March, and from 6th April onward, our all programs are online. Uh, as far as faculty training is concerned, it was a great challenge for us. A few of our faculty members were early adopters. They got the training and grasped all the gadgets and this tool very well, and they motivated other team members as well. But few of the faculty members were very slow in adapting this. So we conducted multiple training sessions to put them into the stream. Students training was also a big challenge for us. We created video tutorials to ease out the learning process, and we had a continuous communication with the students. We took them on board service by service. Initially, we started utilizing our LMDC app for collaboration and study material sharing. Then we started Google Meet for online classes, and at the end we give them training on Google Classroom for online assessment. To cater the queries of faculty and students, we established an IT help desk, which is running 24/7. I would like to share the challenges of online education. First of all, a student must be self-motivated enough to start online learning. Otherwise, you can see the picture how if a student is not self-motivated, then the things will turn around this way. The second thing is adaptability struggle. Student must be motivated enough, and he or she must be struggling to start this online education. Otherwise, he or she cannot start this. Third one is technical issues. We in the Pakistan, most of the students having the issue of strong internet connection. Most of the students, and some of the students also have power issue, electricity issue. Otherwise, remaining things are okay. Okay, that was all from my side. Now I would like to share my feedback which we got from students regarding the online education. We conducted multiple surveys from different classes, And if you see, from 58 responses, 90% students are categorized in strongly agree and agree. And if we ask the efficacy of this online education, then out of 58 responses, around 73% students are agreed with this. So that was all from my side. If any question, I am available. Thank you once again.
Thank you, Mr. Zameen Mushtaq. I would like you as well as for the audience to know that we will be holding a Q&A session at the end of all the presentations of our panelists. So your questions and queries will be looked into. Don't worry about that. Although, Mr. Zamir, I would like to ask you something from my end because this has been clicking me since yesterday. When it comes to using the online platform, when it comes to the other subjects and categories, it's understandable because it's theoretical. But when it comes to a medical college, a dental college, where clinical activities and exercises are needed, so how are you able to maneuver that when it comes to using the online platform? Because you have to be doing these physically, right? It's these clinical activities, and this learning mechanism has to be done in the physical presence. So are you also looking into that?
Yes, we are looking, but at this point, we are just covering our theoretical part. Practical part and clinical parts are not on board at the moment.
All right. Okay. Thank you so much. Now I would like to welcome on board Mr. Janzeb Ahmed Khan from the University of Lahore. Mr. Janzeb, are you with us?
Yes,
Uh,
I'm here. Thank you for having me.
Hello. Hi, Mr. Janzeb. Thank you so much for
Hello.
joining us for this very, very important event and giving you the floor to talk about your expertise and your vision towards a digital platform. How can we get there?
Right. Thank you for having me. And it's an honor being on such a platform and sharing what you've done with the students in the educational arena. I'm not here with any presentation as Sir was. I'll be talking about my experience and firstly telling the panelists that something about me, and then I'll be talking about some of my experience throughout this COVID-19 lockdown and all those situations as a teacher which we went through. So as you all know, my name is Jahazeeb Ahmed Khan, and I'm primarily working as a motivational trainer and a soft skills coach. And apart from it, I teach entrepreneurship and marketing in University of Lahore. Uh, been into this field of education for the past 6 or 7 years now, training and educating, working for the corporate sector, training students in the educational sector, and training people in the corporate sector. So there has been slight change. I won't say a huge change in a way, because what we are doing is that we are teaching students and we are trying to understand their situations as well. Yes, there is a drastic change in a way that you're not there physically, you're not present there physically, but what you can do is that you can, at this point in time, we are in a state, we are in a position where things are very easy. Things are easy overall. The only issue which comes is the handling issue. When in University of Lahore, when we started this, uh, it was relatively tough to start with, but it became a smooth sail later on. So what happens in this, what you can say, the digital side of education, what the things, how they play in the digital side of education is that it is relatively challenging in a way that you don't, you see, uh, tend to be physically communicative with students as you are in the class. So what happens is that students tend not to be that serious, and students are not as serious as they are in the class. So for that, you need to, as an instructor, what I came up with was that you need to be a bit innovative throughout the sessions. You need to be creative throughout the sessions. To start with, all these online sessions are a bit challenging, but with the passage of time, one tends to be comfortable with all those situations, all those hurdles that are coming in those sessions. What I figured out was that to start with, I was not being that innovative or that creative with the students, due to which they were not getting into it. See, I've always been an advocate. I've always been an advocate of the fact that uh, as an instructor, it's your responsibility that you always need to be there on the level with the students. The students would never be coming at your level. So to figure it out, to have an understanding about it, you need to have those ideals and ideas basically to get to the point of the students where they can understand you, where they can grasp you, and till the point you're not doing it, students are not getting into you. The students are not understanding your thing. And the other thing is that due to this virtual learning thing, one thing is there for sure, that one needs to put in much more effort in order to have the attention of the students and have that life in the session, life in the lecture. And for that, an instructor needs to be fully prepared. This is one challenge which is yes there on virtual learning side, because again there is no connectivity with the students physically. When we are in the class, when we're there in the class, the students are physically there in front of us, we are there in front of them, and we tend to control them as well and make them understand things, try to make them understand. But here students are not in front of you physically, they are virtually here. There are hurdles like students are not at times they are there for the attendance, but they are not there in the lecture. So when a student, and the feedback which we've got from the students is that they only stay in those lectures in which they are not getting bored. So having a combination of keeping their interests and then giving them those insights about the lecture, the subject, is very important. So this e-learning thing, according to me, has done tons of good to my presentation skills in a way that I am more prepared now. I personally feel that I am more prepared now rather than I used to be in a physical class, because I need to study in more, to put in more effort so that my students stay in. Because to have a 3 hours session, 3 hours class virtually takes a lot out of an instructor, takes a lot out of an a teacher, to say so. And apart from it, I train people. I have my online sessions, my counseling sessions, because I work as a life coach. I see, normally I tell people the difference between a trainer and a speaker, that when a trainer enters a hall, he tries to instill something. A speaker talks and leaves. A trainer tries to instill something in his recipients. So that's what I try to do with my students as well, because my basic motto is to instill something. As I initially said, that there's not a huge difference between e-learning and the physical learning. I know that some of you must have disagreed, which is all natural. But my point of view was that if the motto is to impart something, if the motto is to give something, you have these platforms, right? You have these places where you can, you know, go and talk to people, talk to students. For that matter, if you're a teacher, talk to students. If you're a speaker, you have this platform, electronic platform, where you can reach out to people. And this platform surely gives you the opportunity of reaching out to masses, which we don't have in our daily lives. So what we can do is that we can use these platforms to its utmost potential. So when I work with the corporate sector, I've taken few sessions in for the past one and a half month since we're in lockdown. So we had sessions, we had Instagram live sessions, Zoom sessions. Uh, People are more comfortable. What I've found is that people are more comfortable. They are just resting on the backs of their seats, of their beds even, and they're having those sessions. It's as same as you're watching a video on YouTube and trying to identify things and trying to understand things. So when we understand the potential of this whole setup, we understand the potential of this e-learning thing, things get easier because we still are in an age and we still come from a generation who's been through books. We are more comfortable reading books rather reading things on screen. I know that there are uh, adverse effects of using a lot of screen. Having a lot of screen time is not good for your health. I am totally up for it and I can understand this. But the fact of the matter is that these days everything is on our palms, on the touch of our palms, which is our smartphones. We 90% of our times we have these smartphones. And if we'll abstain ourselves from reading anything from that, and we'll say that we'll have a specific time out of it, and have a specific time out of our busy schedule and then plan to read something, I'm sure we'll be falling apart of it, and we won't be making time and having time to address all those things or all those issues or grasping all that knowledge which we want to. So I prefer people that wherever you are sitting, if you've got an opportunity to go through something, to go through a text, to go through any piece of information, you can just with a reference of a click go to that point and grasp it. Because don't abstain yourself and don't be meticulous about the fact that when I'll have time, I'll go to my study, have that specific book out, and then I'll read. Google the book, Google the page, and you'll have it in front of you. So this situation, what this has done good to me, and I think a number of others, is that it has made us more comfortable and more friendly with this electronic medium. People have become more comfortable with this medium, and they tend to you must have seen that people tend to share a lot of information now. They were sharing it on the social mediums, but now they are grouping up on meetings like Zoom. There are a number of Insta live sessions because people are locked down at home, but yet they are social, and this is what this social medium and this e-platform learning has done. uh, we as a third world nation receive all the technology from the world once it's either obsolete or is going to be obsolete in the West. But at this point in time, when in 2020, we're sitting in 2020, and it's a global village. In this global village, everyone thinks more or less the same. Now it's not what it used to be 10, 15, or 20 years back. Now if a child in Chicago is thinking about a thing, a boy in Lahore also thinks the same. So it's a global world, global village, so to speak. And things are changing rapidly, and as they say again, that we'll be having a new normal now. This is the new normal, and getting comfortable with it, getting easy with it is the new normal. Because uh, frankly speaking, in at this point in time, we don't know that till what time things would be going, and till what time we'll be locked down. We have a lockdown, we have a smart lockdown, we have a relaxed lockdown today. But whatever the situation is going outside, we don't know that for how long this lockdown would this smart lockdown or ease in lockdown would persist. So as this pandemic prevails, may God uh, you know have his blessings over us, and we get out of this pandemic as soon as possible. But logically speaking, we don't see anything happening as our old normal in the future, in the shorter period of time, I believe. So what we need to do is that we need to be comfortable with this scenario, with this situation. And coming to the other part of mine, the training and development side, the motivational side, uh, this is a platform which is very comfortable, I personally believe, for one-on-one counselings as well. Because there are a number of people. Another thing which I'm sharing about this forum, which I've learned myself, one about these forums and the other about the human behavior, that when people come for counselings, At times they try to, uh, wither away, they shade away, they freak out in terms of talking about their own issues. But I've seen that they tend to be more comfortable over social forums in terms of, if you're talking to a person, or if you're seeking advice from a person on WhatsApp, or over the call, or over a video call on Zoom. You can talk to that person having your video muted, having your video cancelled, and you can talk to that person. I've seen that people express themselves more rather than sitting in front of you and then talking. So this has given space to people as well. This has given opportunity to people. This has given space to people where they can express themselves comfortably, where they can talk to the other person comfortably and reach out to people. So this is a forum which needs to be embedded in our minds primarily as the new normal. Till the point we are getting back to our old normal, we should have this thing as our new normal. I know that it's a bit hectic. Hectic. Initially, I was going through a number of hurdles while using all these things because I'm not a tech savvy person. But later on, when I found the advantages of this e-learning, these portals, and when I found out that I could reach out to a a larger number of people, because as a trainer, as an instructor, my job is to reach out. Whenever I'm in a session, I tell people that if you like even a single bit of this session or anything which you've heard from any other person or from me, try to communicate it, try to take it further, because this is a responsibility of every person, that if you know a thing, try to take it forward. So, as a trainer, I believe that things, if it's a good thing, if anything is being done in the light of positivity, take it further, because a number of people are still not having the exact impetus and the exact spirit of positivity. So they need to have all those things. And knowledge is one thing which should be spread. And as much as it's spread, the nation grows, people grow, people develop. So this
Right.
is what we are working for.
All
This
right.
is the whole idea about it. So I'm up for any sort of questions.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Janzeb. I enjoyed your one-on-one way of having this discussion with us. And I specifically enjoyed how you touched upon how, okay, you know what, we would be able to get the resources, we would be able to get the expertise, but it's the human element that we need to focus upon. That
Exactly,
we
exactly.
as you know, because we are have emotions, and we need to realize how the ways in which we can make it creative. So I enjoyed your part about how some people are saying how this is going to make us being laid back and very relaxed, but it's actually the opposite, especially for the instructors. They actually need to be on their toes even more to make it an interesting session for all their students so that the intention span can be there for a longer period of time. So, very
and this
interesting
and this
points.
eventually helps our skill set, because I've learned a lot from this. I've see, when I go in the class, I don't use slides a lot. I believe in interacting and communicating with students one on one. I My classes are normally as an interactive session, as my training sessions are. So I take my classes as my training sessions. When I implied the same on this e-learning forum, initially I was having some problems because students were not that easy to handle. They were more casual, they were not serious, they were very, very
Yeah.
non-serious, I'd say. And people who are teaching must be experiencing the similar things. But later on, I had to develop all those things, and I had to be, as I say that, to be, I won't say exactly to be a successful person, but a person who needs to compete in this competitive world needs to be innovative. So this
Right.
is what the toughness of my students gave me. As they say that the tough gets tougher when the
Yeah.
going is tough. So this is a going which is tough for the instructors, I believe.
Right. Right.
And we
Very
need
well
to
put.
outsmart this situation. That's
Of
all.
course, of course. Yes, very rightly put. It is the new normal. We can't run from it and we can't escape it. So we need to learn how to, turn it into our new routine of life, our new lifestyle. So hopefully, inshallah, we'll get there. Thank you so much, Mr.
Inshallah.
Janzeb. I would like to move on
Honored.
to our third panelist for today. If we can, I can see Ms. Fatma Nawaz is there. So I would like to actually start off with you, Ms. Fatma Nawaz from University of Management and Technology. If you could just please put your, yes, unmute your audio and
Okay,
yes. How are you, Ms. Fatma?
I'm fine. How are you?
I'm good. I'm very well. Thank you so much. Ms. Fatma, a pleasure to have you with us today. I would like to welcome you to this very important summit, which is a game-changing event. And I wouldn't waste much of your time and would request you to please move forward with your presentation.
Thank you for having me. Okay, let's start. My name is Fatma Nawaz, and I'm a lecturer in Department of Information System, SBUMT. I have done my bachelor's and MPhil from Institute of Business and Information Technology, University of the Punjab. Let's move towards UMT. As you all know, UMT is a project of Institute of Leadership and Management Trust. The university offers 125 plus bachelor, master's, and doctoral degree programs in diverse range of disciplines. You can check on UMT official site as well. UMT has joined hands with over 60 international universities and institutes. The sub-campus of the university is also located in Samkot. UMT has 60 plus clubs and societies to cultivate students' skills and talents. Now moving towards my transition experience. Firstly, I would like to share that UMT was one of the fast movers by implementing online classes on Zoom. I remember in my first online class, our president was also there just to check the smooth running of online classes. So it was a great experience as well. Then moving towards my transition experience, it was good. But there are some experiences I want to share. There are some factors that affect the implementation of a new system in technology, like culture, environment, and politics. So before implementing any system or any technology, we have to understand our culture, environment, and politics in which you're going to implement that system or technology. I can relate this with my experience as when I conducted my first online class, the student strength was good. But eventually it fell down. It was an alarming situation for me. Then I asked one of the students and he told me that they are going to boycott these classes. Then I got to know that there were some students who were also demotivating other students. So I decided to conduct a discussion session. And I told them that we only discuss the problems that they were facing and no course work. So there was 100% class attendance in that session. Then I listened to their problems. Most of them had issues like internet access, technological assistance. Then I persuaded them by giving compensation in assignment, timings, and conducted training sessions. And can you believe, after that discussion, my class strength is always near 80 to 90%. So you have to understand the mentioned factors in which you are going to apply any new system and technology. So lastly, I would like to add that motivation is the key factor in online classes. So moving towards benefits of online education, as you can see, there is a time shift, there is a space shift, there is a career advancement and hobbies. Studying online gives you more flexibility. You can work and fit your work schedule and your hobbies around your coursework more easily. Then there is a flexible schedule and environment. By studying online, you choose your own learning environment that works best for your needs. Be it your bedroom, your study, or the cafe, or your local gym, listening to your instructor lecture as you run on the treadmill. So isn't that awesome? So moving towards self-discipline and responsibility, it is true that studying online requires more self-motivation, as I said earlier, and time management skills, because you will spend a lot of time on your own without someone physically close to keep you focused on deadlines. So moving towards the challenges, as you all know, there is an adaptability struggle. Switching from traditional classroom and face-to-face instructor training to computer-based training in a virtual classroom makes the learning experience entirely different for students. Then there are some technical issues. Many students are not provided with the high bandwidth or the strong internet connection that online courses require. Then there is a lack of computer literacy. Then there is a lack of self-motivation. As I said earlier, this self-motivation is an e-learning essential requirement. However, many online learners lack it. So that's all from my side. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ms. Fatma Nawaz, for that very interactive presentation. And again, I very much enjoyed the fact that you talked about how we need to tackle the emotional crisis when it comes to adopting this new platform and looking into the vulnerability of the students, because it becomes way too much for them to handle. So you need to give them a one-on-one, ambience to be able to understand. Yes. So and once that is in, then, when you're able to get that sort of a motivational boost, a confidence that your instructor understands that it's not easy for you, you eventually you just get used to it. You adapt yourselves to this new environment, but you need to have that kind of a mental mindset with the students. The instructors need to understand that they can't just go on with the program just like that. So I'm very much enjoyed how you shared your own experience about how the students went and boycotted and created a whole drama with it. And you're like, okay, no, we won't do this. But you're like, okay, calm down. It's not a movie. Let's figure it out. So thank you so much. That was really interesting. And now I would like to go to our last panelist for the day. Before we open our Q&A session, Ms. Satwat Bashir from University of Management and Technology, if you're here with us.
Hi.
Hi, hello, Ms. Satwat. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good as well. How are you enjoying the session so far?
Well, it's very interesting. I also attended your session yesterday, and more or less, I mean, they are the same problems, and we are dealing with all this drama, but we are, I mean, adapting these things, and we are improving, and we are getting mature. And it's good to have sessions so we can say, "Haan, sabki ek hi masail hai."
Yeah, exactly. We're all rocking the same boat. Don't worry, we are all in the same boat.
Yeah.
And we are a stubborn nation, so we will, inshallah, be able to tackle this. Okay.
Yeah, we don't have any other option, so we have to survive.
Exactly. So, Ms. Satwat, if you could just kindly give us your expertise and experience and how you are transitioning into the digital era.
Yeah, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. And I have also prepared a presentation on the template, and I will start with my own background. Okay, my name is Satwat Bashir, and here is a little background about me. Right now, I'm working as a lecturer of data sciences at UMT, and my professional journey from UET Lahore, and then I joined NESPARC. It's a very famous engineering and construction company, and I worked as a software engineer and as a business analyst for 3 or 4 years. And then I moved to United States, and I got involved in machine learning domain at Stanford University. I had 2 years of research experience there, and then I went to do my post-graduation from University of London. And now I'm here at UMT and in front of you guys. So talking about my current institution, I mean, like, it's a very famous institute, and my colleague has also described the key features of UMT. So I will just describe about my department. So, I mean, first I will say that the the key success of UMT is that it's very quick in adapting and designing courses that are related to modern needs. So, and my department is one of the true example in this line, I would say. And the department is a combination, they design courses with society, business, and modern technology. So it's a very interesting combination. And nowadays, everything goes back to data, and data is the key factor that combines technology with everything, with your needs, with your objective. So this was a little background, and now coming to today's topic, and they are more or less the same things that everybody had talked about. So I will just talk in my own words. So this sudden transition from traditional to online education was overwhelming. I mean, like, it was very sudden. So it looks very easy. Like if you do online, if you take or give online lecture, it seems very easy. But in actual, it was a very challenging process. It's not very controlled as you think that, like, here I switch off my class and here I switch on my class. I mean, but it's a very challenging process. And we were not prepared. And from my end, like, I have to prepare not only for my lectures, but I have to learn other tools. So I can cover the dynamics of my course. Like, most of my courses are technical, and I have to teach programming and other tools, and I have to relate the knowledge with the skills. So, like, I have to go to other mediums and to cover these dynamics. And I have to be available on phone 24 hours and on phone and email. And it was overwhelming when you have 4 or 5 courses and they are different. So it was preoccupied thing. But the positive side is, like, I take it as an opportunity and polished my teaching skills. And so this was a transition. And if I say the benefits, I mean, like, although we were forced to adopt this thing, but eventually online education is a future. And at the end of the day, whenever I give my class or anything else, like, I mean, I feel satisfied. I earned something. And when I have discussion and I try to transform this thing in my students too. I mean, like, if they are coming, they feel, okay, you are learning something, and if you are done, okay, just you can leave. But you just come with some focused mind. And it also, there was another benefit, like, there were many shy students in my class, and this medium has boosted their confidence. I mean, like, first they were very hesitant, like, we don't want to share our screen, we don't want to speak. But, like, when you are being interactive and you are communicating, like, sometimes students are saying, मिस ये वाली बात मैं आपको प्राइवेट कह रहा हूँ, या आपने सबके सामने नहीं कहनी है, तो मिस ये आपने मेरी स्लाइड्स नहीं कहनी, वो बोल रहा था, मुझे बोलने दिया. So these are the things. I mean, when you give them confidence, I mean, they are just talking, they are just sharing their panic, and they are also anxious. So you listen to them, and it will boost their confidence, and they think, okay, I have one-to-one correspondence or interaction or bonding with my teacher now. So, I mean, it boosts their confidence, and they are more interactive now. And I mean, like, it also controlled, this medium also controlled the time wastage. Like, we get ready, and then we travel to the university, and we get tired, and we talk to other colleagues, and etc. I mean, like, this kind of wastage is controlled, and we are more focused on the content. And depending on the situation, we can also choose and shift our lectures. So sometimes my class want to have a lecture at the Sahri time, and sometimes they want to have lecture before the Sahri. I mean, like, so, like, I have to compromise just to facilitate them. So, I mean, like, this is a transition, and they are the key persons. I mean, they have to get facilitated. If they are not satisfied, then our business and our services are down. I mean, they are of no use. So, like, one has to be responsible, one has to compromise to make this eventually a success. So, but they are still, I mean, like, we are maturing in this thing, and we are learning, and we are adapting, and it's been more than a month, but there's still some limitations that we are not getting over it, like internet connection. And if the connection is available, then stability of the connection, sound distortion, and other things. I mean, So this is one of the key factors. And also my students, attention of the students, to gain attention of the students is the big challenge. Like if the student is telling somebody is passing by, they start looking at it, or if they have some, like they are on their laptop or their desktop on phone, they say there is one notification from Twitter, from social media, from TikTok. I mean, there are so many distractions. So I mean, to gain their attention and to make them just stop everything and just be attentive in their class, it's still a challenging thing. And they say, okay, you can record the lectures and then you can send us. So I mean, they are taking it easy. So to have the attention of the students within the lecture is still a key challenge. And another thing, like we are dependent on Zoom. I mean, mostly we are using Zoom, but there are so many other tools that we can try: Google Classroom, YouTube channels, and other mediums. I mean, sometimes students say like, I have an internet connection, but like Zoom is not connecting me. So I cannot hear you. I'm not in the, like, I am in a waiting list. I have to join. I mean, there are so many other things. This link is not working and other thing. I mean, like Zoom is a very good facility, but I think with time, we have to move on and try other tools, or can come up with our own tool. So this is it from my side. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ms. Satwat. I feel for you. I really much enjoyed how you talked about the issues the lecturers are facing, which we actually don't look into, aside from preparing these huge lectures, preparing the background material. Now you have to actually go ahead and learn the tools on how to make use of it, because if you don't excel that, the students will be blaming you. Oh, you don't know anything. So you're right. I mean, I completely understand. And then the point about how you have to keep them attentive, because there's so many distractions when you're doing it at home. And if you go online, you would see there's so many interesting memes and these cartoons about a teacher who's like, saying that turn your phone off, pay attention, and the students in a laid back position. He's like, you have no control here. I'm in my home. What are you talking about? So it is true. It's really hard. It's amazing in the way that it's really pushing the buttons. But hats off to all the lecturers, to the experts, the educationists out there who are holding their ground. So yes, so now we would be moving to our Q&A session. We have some queries and questions from our participants. So I would first state the question, and then if one of the panelists would be interested in answering, you could use the raise your hand option, and we'll come to you and you can just revert on the question. So we have Aisha Mushtaq. She's asking that I have a question that yes, virtual learning is the best when what we can have nowadays, but is it fine to burden students with a lot of material to read? Because some teachers are doing that. So basically they're giving more stuff to handle as opposed to before. So if one of the panelists would like to give their views on that.
I think they should discuss with their teacher instead of discussing it here, because जहाँ जो problem है उधर ही ये discuss करेंगे तो वहाँ ही solution इनका जो है वो ये ले सकते हैं ना. तो मेरे ख्याल में discussion जो है ना is a key point है online classes में किसी भी problem के लिए ना. They should ask their teacher. They should discuss with their teacher. Teacher.
Mr. Would you like to add something?
I would also like to add, like, it depends on the dynamics of the course. Like, if you have a literature course, then you have to read it. And if you have to write the reviews, analysis, and case studies and other things, then you have to read and you have to and you can divide it. I mean, like, I have technical courses, so the game goes on with the practical exercises. So I can relate this thing with my practical. If I am giving them assignments or exercises to do, practice this, like, I can see they are not doing it. And then I have to make another lecture, or like in the next lecture, I have to say, okay, do these exercises. And then I share their screens and I make them like do, and I am watching you. So if they say, okay, no, I am sitting in my office, I can't do it right now, I am on phone. So I said, I mean, like, I make them, you have to be in your class. It's a class decorum. Like, thoda sa khenchna padta hai unko.
Tell the guy, my eyes are on you.
So I mean like हमने काफी सारा अपना ये style change किया marking का assessments का. So like for my project, so I divide my final project in different assignments in 4 sections. So I'm taking these 4 sections and then discussing this in class. So I mean like eventually we have to facilitate them and we have to achieve the objective. They have learned something. Otherwise it's not like we have 4 quizzes, I have 3 assignments and I have a final project. This is not it. I mean the style and everything is changed. So we have to more like this.
Right.
Okay. Can I?
Yes.
Yes, Janzeb.
Mr. Janzeb, yes, please.
The other thing is that it's an issue where students are not used to reading, and whenever anything is given to them, from a regular pattern, something different is done through a regular pattern, they tend not to accept it, as we do it as a nation, that we don't accept things. So this is one issue which prevails at the side of the students. But the other thing is, yes, I know that as instructors, we are burdened up. We have a lot to do. We have a lot on our plate. But similarly, we need to understand that students are also burdened up, because they are doing a number of quizzes, assignments, which they are not doing in their regular classes. So teachers should also take care of it. But the other thing for students, which I want to say, is that, again, as I said, that when I say that a teacher should be innovative enough to make students comfortable, the students should be innovative enough to identify and understand and make their own learning patterns. Though they are given readings by their instructors, it's fine, fair enough. But they can always go on the internet, have some videos over it. The internet is full of a number of videos, educational videos, informative videos. So you need to be innovative and have your own learning pattern. That's the most important thing.
Right. Meher, I would like to also add and ask a question. First of all, is that when I think our panelists were talking about making it, how do you get the students motivated? And I think we talked about it yesterday also, is that how do you get the students motivated enough so that they can come into class and are not bored by it, and they listen to you. Like when somebody's saying, hey, this is my phone and I can be on the phone. And a lot of times I can see that they are on the phone. So I have to come up with some really creative lines to get them to kind of get involved in the class. So the question that has come up is very again, it is related to the same thing, is that how do you get the students motivated, so that, how do you get them to be excited about the class, online class? So I think we have had a couple of answers, and I think there was another panelist, Mr. Zamir Mushtaq, I think.
Mr. Zamir Mushtaq, yes.
Yes, let's have him to, how do you get, how do you bring innovation or innovative or excitement? There's just a 1 or 2 minute answer, because we are right on the spot for 3 o'clock motivational speech. Zamir sir?
Yeah, sir, I think the teacher must be more interactive in order to get involved maximum. Teacher must be more interactive, and there should be some questions. They must be asked from the students time to time. I think in that way it can be more productive.
Okay. All right. I would like to, Mayor, add something that I and some of the colleagues have experienced over the past month or so from different universities, not only UMT and virtual, because we're not only talking about 2 universities here. So I mean, a lot of people from abroad also, is that you use the tools. For example, in Microsoft Team, Google has its own tool that they use. We are using Zoom. There are multiple tools, and they all allow for students to be polled, but the questions can be posted. They can come onto the whiteboard and be interactive and utilize the whiteboard themselves. So I think what like Satwat was saying and earlier, you need to chop down your lectures into these little I would say 15, 20-minute snippets of a lecture, and with some activity in there, so that they're involved, like Zamir Saab was saying, that they're involved in it, and they're not just sitting there and going, okay, we're listening and there's slides going 1, 2, 3, and we think we've done our purpose. But and also Janze was talking about, very interesting, that people are not used to reading.
Yeah.
And now that we are asking them to read, before that it was like in the class, you don't read, fine, we are there. But now they have to read. It's like that flipped class.
Right.
We are using that kind of a thing. So anyway, back to you. I just wanted to add a few cents. I think we're last minute of your time. Thank you very much.